First, Jensen Huang's first blog post in 6 years is a must-read recipe for AI.
Then a Chinese EV swaps batteries in 2.5 minutes for $25, but America banned it.
And Lego made $13 billion last year by doing something no toy company was willing to do.
Yeah, Fezzi, if you like our background, it's because we're recording where we're doing the live show tomorrow night.
Just outside D.C.
This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Wednesday, Ceviche Wednesday, March 11th. And today's pod is the best one yet. This is a T-Boy.
The top 3 pop business news stories you need to know today.
For our first story, Nvidia's Jensen Huang just drew a map of the AI industry that you need to understand.
Because AI is like a 5-layer cake, with each delicious layer driving different elements of our economy and our stock market.
I'll pull it out of the oven and we'll explain it to you. But besties, to start this story, let's go back to September of 2020. Jack, what was happening then?
That's when Nvidia's CEO published a blog post that, boy, do I wish I had read.
It was called Creating a Premier Company for the Age of AI.
The reason we wish we'd read it is that was 2 years before ChatGPT launched, and yet Nvidia was talking about becoming an AI company.
Back then in 2020, if you invested $1,000 in Nvidia stock, it would be worth $15,000 today.
So this week, when Nvidia's CEO published the first blog post since then, 6 years ago, we won't be fooled again.
We read it so many times.
We read this one.
And here it is. AI is a 5-layer cake. That's the title. And here's the first sentence from Jensen Huang, the legendary leather-bound CEO of Nvidia.
He's not a leather-bound notebook.
But he's a style.
He's a leather-bound CEO.
It's a vibe.
He said that AI is one of the most powerful forces shaping the world today, not just the economy. It is not a clever app or a single model. It is essential infrastructure, like electricity and the internet.
So besties, grab some sprinkles, buttercream, and a plate, because we are slicing up Jensen Huang's 5-layer cake analogy on AI.
Because there are stock market winners in each and every layer.
All right, Jack, let's grab your apron. At the top of this AI cake is the applications. And what is that exactly?
This is how we humans interact with AI today.
Yeah, besties, think of like the chatbots, Salesforce's Einstein, Waymo's self-driving cars. These are the applications of AI in the real world that consumers interact with.
But beneath the applications are the models, the LLMs that have been trained on huge amounts of data to get smart.
That's the second layer of the cake. You got OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, Meta. They're the players actually in the top 2 layers, the model and the application.
The third layer is where things get physical, the infrastructure.
Yeah, and the third layer you see Oracle, Microsoft, Amazon Web Services. They all build cloud-connected data centers to house and operate chips.
Which brings us to the fourth layer, the chips.
Yeah, the chips.
Nvidia and AMD design them, TSMC manufactures them, and they fill up all those data centers. And boy, do they get hot when they're humming.
Oh, you got to bring them out of the oven, because on the bottom layer of this 5-layer AI cake is the energy. Artificial intelligence, not possible without huge amounts of electricity.
So those are Jensen's 5 layers, and we think you need to understand them because, man, this industry is just too important not to understand.
You got energy under the chips, under the infrastructure, under the models, under the applications. It's like a 5-tier wedding cake.
And what's so wild about this is that baking this 5-layer cake requires workers of all different kinds.
I mean, Jack, it requires electricians, plumbers, and pipe fitters.
And concrete pourers. But it also requires tech workers, physicists, PhDs. Our best white-collar and blue-collar workers are building out this technology stack.
But Jensen, if you are listening, and we believe that you are, we would actually propose a 6th layer to your AI cake.
The natural resources. For both the chips and the electricity, the natural resources are like the icing on top.
Yeah, but I guess not on top. It would be like the cake plate underneath.
Yeah, because it's below with the electricity is the natural resources.
This is the reason why President Trump wants to acquire Greenland, for the rare earth metals and the other rocks and resources that are critical to AI.
So AI, it takes raw materials from the bottom and converts them all the way up to intelligence at scale.
And now, I'm craving magnolia, preferably the banana cake with the chocolate chips. So Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over in the 5-layer cake of AI?
To grasp where we are in this AI revolution, we're going to quote Winston Churchill.
Oh, okay. So Jack just finished this book on Winston Churchill. Jack, why don't you take it from here?
It was actually on FDR.
A supporting role, Winston Churchill.
In 1942, after the Allies finally had their first major victory in World War II, Winston Churchill grabbed the radio microphone and addressed the nation.
And what did he say? What did he say?
He said, "This is not the end. It's not even the beginning of the end, but it is the end of the beginning.
Okay, first of all, I like how the accent developed over the course of the quote. Second of all, yes, you do get the award. Third, we think that this captures where we are in the AI revolution. We're at the end of the beginning.
End of the beginning, because AI is scaled, but it's still nascent. Businesses are being created with AI, but they're also being destroyed by AI.
We don't know who the winners of AI will be yet. We just know who's winning right now.
Just like Winston and the Allies in 1942.
So the reason we wanted to read Jensen's cake post is that AI is the defining economic force of the generation.
And according to Jensen, we've spent hundreds of billions of dollars to stack it out so far, but there's trillions still to come.
For our second story, while Tesla's car sales are past its peak, NIO's car sales in China are exploding.
NIO should be a wake-up call to America.
We're giving it.
If we coddle our car industry forever, our Lincolns will become lemons.
Wait till you hear what NIO's doing. But besties, to start by sprinkling on some context, back in 2019, NIO was a new stock trading on the New York Stock Exchange for just $1.50.
We covered that IPO on this podcast.
We did.
It was founded by China's Elon Musk, and the pitch was, this is Tesla, but for China.
Tesla, but with Chinese characteristics.
And that's why the Robinhood investing crowd pumped the stock up to $60 during the pandemic.
Although NIO stock has floated back down to $5 today.
But we still think you need to pay attention, because NIO has passed Tesla, in our opinion, in terms of innovation.
Because besties, NIO just announced they sold 125,000 electric cars just last quarter. Jack, can you sprinkle on more context?
That's only a third as many cars sold as Tesla, but it's 10 times more cars sold than Rivian.
And Tesla's sales have fallen for 2 straight years, while NIO's growth has nearly doubled last quarter to 72%.
Now, we said a second ago that NIO is more innovative than Tesla, in our opinion.
We did.
We know that's a big statement to make.
It was bold, Jim.
But NIO is revolutionizing the car experience in ways not just new, but ways that aren't even possible here in the States.
We're talking Star Wars level stuff. Like, Jack, you know in every Star Wars movie, they visit a new planet and, like, there's a new hoverboard everyone uses? That's like NIO.
We're not even embellishing this. For example, NIO announced last month that they had completed their 100 millionth battery swap.
Okay, I'm sorry. Pause the pod. I'm fascinated.
Battery swap.
Swap.
In China, you don't have to charge your NIO's battery. You can swap your NIO's battery.
That's right. Since 2018, NIO has built 3,800 battery swapping stations, with 1,000 more coming this year.
For context, Tesla has about 3,000 supercharging stations in the US. So NIO has more battery swapping stations than that.
Again, Jack, we got to dive in T-Boy style to this. What is the swap exactly?
Okay, so each battery swapping station has regular chargers.
Yes.
Although high-end NIOs can charge in just 5 minutes.
Yeah, that is 6 times faster than any other U.S. electric car can charge.
But if you don't have 5 minutes to charge your NIO,
let's say I only have 2.5 minutes, Jack.
then you can swap your depleted battery for a fully charged one.
It's like Jiffy Lube. You roll into this room and then the floor opens up to remove and replace your battery in just 2.5 minutes.
Imagine if you could replace your iPhone's battery like that with a fully charged battery. That's what they're doing with NIOs in China.
It's like a chassis switcheroo. It costs $25 and you're out in just 150 seconds.
$25, 2.5 minutes, you're out of there? That's the same experience with pumping gas here in the US.
In fact, NIO has turned this into a new industry. Basically, BaaS, battery as a service.
You buy the car, but you don't actually buy the battery.
No. You subscribe to your NIO battery. It's actually sold by a different company within NIO.
You see, the battery is by far the most expensive part of an electric car.
It is.
So you can subscribe to a small battery because you live in the city and don't take long trips, and then swap out a big battery for that one summer road trip you're taking this year.
You're going to Tahoe? Honey, we're swapping batteries in 2 minutes.
Now, add it all up, and China treats the battery with the respect that America gives to the engine.
Yeah, China has basically put the battery on a pedestal.
But we should point out a huge caveat. Although NIO just had its first profitable quarter ever, they've never had a profitable year.
Yeah, NIO actually lost over $2 billion last year.
And that's the huge tension we face when it comes to Chinese competition. It's subsidized by the government.
So it doesn't matter how much money they lose at all.
What China wants is to win industries at any cost.
And what she wants, she gets. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at China's NIO?
You can't protect your children forever. They need to face the real world.
Hey, Eddies, the reason these crazy tech innovations are new news to you, well, it's because they're barred from the United States.
And that reminds us of Fiat.
Fiat.
After World War II, Italy shielded their national car company from foreign competition.
Hey, che facciamo? What is going on here, Jack?
They didn't want Germans, Brits, and Swedes putting Italians out of a job.
Well, that's why the United States has banned Chinese cars from being imported here to America as well.
It's to protect American car-making jobs.
But here's the problem. Fiat decayed. It kind of became a bad car over the last century.
Fiat went from Italian pride to Italian disgrace.
Yeah, I rented one for our honeymoon and went 0 to 60. Eventually.
So, Yetis, what we're saying is competition is the blood that runs through the veins of capitalism.
China's competition, it's unfair. Chinese electric vehicles, they benefit from massive state subsidies.
True, but we must find a balance. We can protect our car industry in the short term, but we must invest in the long term because that Chinese competition is coming someday.
Because what China's doing right now with electric vehicles, it's mogging American electric vehicles. And it even is putting Tesla to shame.
Meanwhile, America is at risk of letting our Fords become Fiats. We're going to drive to a commercial break. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Now, a quick word from our sponsor.
For our third and final story, despite trade wars, market wars, and real wars, Lego just had its best year ever in 2025.
Lego is fascinating. They're winning because they're playing offense and defense at the same time.
But besties, as you may or may not know, we actually did a whole deep dive episode on the origin of the Lego on The Best Idea Yet, our weekly show.
The episode opens with Lego helping the Allies in World War II.
Oh, I mean, what a story. They're also the world's biggest tire company.
Just really tiny tires.
Yeah, small tires. But there's nothing small about the Lego business of the last year, is it, Jack?
Sales rose 16%, which is twice as fast as the rest of the toy industry.
Besties, Lego's now doing $13 billion in revenue. That is 30% more than Hasbro and Mattel combined. They're putting up double-digit growth numbers over at Lego like a young Furby.
This Denmark-based, family-controlled business is still not public.
True story.
So if you want to buy stock, you're straight up missing out.
You're SUMO, sumo. But in the meantime, it looks like Barbie stopped playing with Ken and is now hanging out with a set of Legos.
But how was 2025 the biggest year yet for the world's smallest toy?
Well, Yetis, Jack and I jumped in T-Boy style for their twice annual earnings, and it turns out Lego has been on the offense.
Get this. They launched 860 new Lego sets last year.
Yeah.
The most ever.
Jack, could you sprinkle on more context, please?
That's more than 2 new Lego sets per day.
What is that even? I can't even process.
We picked a random day from December. They launched a Golden Retriever puppy Lego set, a trio of top Pokemon Lego set, and a Lego set of the NASA Artemis rocket.
And yes, all of them were triple-digit price profit
They're
puppies.
expensive. Now, Nick and I think we need to retire the word kidult.
I mean, at this point, the kidult term doesn't even work. It's their core customer because Lego is now an acceptable midlife hobby.
Puzzling, knitting, Legoing. They're all acceptable things to do on a Saturday night when you're staying in.
And strategically, they broaden the audience. So Lego's now catering to women with a new partnership with MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art in New York.
You can buy a $200 Vincent van Gogh Starry Night Lego set.
But then they've also gone deeper with men with a new F1 partnership this year.
The Ferrari Pit Crew set, $300. Nice gift for your man's 5th year anniversary. Wait, that was weird.
No, wasn't that weird, Jack? Lego, they're treating business the way Jack and I see it, like a movie studio.
They're making some things rated G, some things rated PG-13, even some rated R sets.
They're doing rom-coms, they're doing action. They're just approaching making anything as Legos.
Now, kids still want the big starter set bucket of Legos, but the adults want their super niche passion statement set to build and then put on their bookshelf.
But Jack, I gotta pause the pod here for a sec. Here's the shocker. Lego is the most international business in the industry, man.
How is it thriving with tariffs taxing every part of their business?
Well, besties, Jack and I noticed that Lego learned a lesson that we learned back in college sports. As a backup second string, third string quarterback, and a potential ready-to-go second string face-off lacrosse guy. Time for the takeaways. Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Lego?
Offense wins games, but defense wins championships.
You know, Yetis, those record high 860 new Lego sets that they launched last year, that was Lego on the offense.
That's Lego keeping their foot on the pedal to stay ahead of the competition.
The offense. But what you didn't see was the defense, the logistical investments that set up the offense for success.
Because Lego opened their 6th factory on their 3rd continent last year.
Wow.
And this year, they're spending $1.5 billion to build their 7th factory right here in the state of Virginia.
That's defense. That's localized production. And it's key to reducing shipping costs, avoiding tariffs, and becoming a job creator for each region that it sells into.
Which keeps you on the good side of all the politicians who are setting the tariff rates.
So the way Jack and I see it, the offense is the new Picasso Lego set. The defense is the distributed production of all the Legos.
Like in sports, offense gets all the stats and the MVP awards and all the praise and all the highlights. But the defense does the grunt work that deserves the credit too.
Besties, you notice how there's only been 2 defensive players to ever win the NFL MVP?
And only 2 defensive players to ever win the Heisman.
Yeah, defense just doesn't get the same glory as the offense.
Still, Lego knows what coaches know too. Offense wins games, but defense wins championships.
Jack, could you whip up the takeaways for us for Ceviche Wednesday?
Lego enjoyed a record 2025. It's growing not from kids, but from adults.
It's all because offense wins games, but defense wins championships.
Second, Neo is doing things with EVs that would blow your mind, like battery swapping and battery subscriptions.
Oh, we can't coddle Ford from Chinese competition forever, or Ford could end up like Fiat.
And our third and final story is Jensen's first blog post in 6 years. It says that AI is a 5-layer cake.
So where are we in the baking of that cake? Well, this is not the end. It's not even the beginning of the end, but it is the end of the beginning.
Good job accenting halfway through the sentence.
Yes.
But besties, this pod's not over yet.
Fight them in the bonds. We'll fight them on the AI.
That's good. That sounded like Gary Oldman.
That's what I was going for. Besties first, KPMG put out a shocking survey that reverses the narrative on AI and your job.
Get this. Just 9% of CEOs surveyed by KPMG plan to cut jobs this year due to AI.
They're not cutting jobs because of AI? What's going on?
CEOs apparently are not seeing the ROI on their AI investments yet.
One day AI is taking our jobs, the next day it's not taking our jobs.
We're all figuring out what the future is in real time.
Maybe AI isn't like corporate Ozempic. Maybe it's more like corporate Botox.
Again, it's only the end of the beginning.
And speaking of AI, second, we've got Meta, which just acquired Maltbook, the viral social network designed for AI chatbots to become friends with their other AI chatbots.
Now, this deal brings Maltbook's 2 founders onto Meta's AI payroll.
And that's what this was all about. Similarly, last month, OpenAI hired the founder of OpenClaw, another AI startup.
Zuck and Altman are like, hey, we're impressed what you did with that AI thing. Come work for us. We'll pay you $10 million a year.
Not too shabby. And finally, Timothée Chalamet is the top pick to win an Oscar this year. But there is one problem, and the problem is the ballet.
In an interview with Matthew McConaughey, Timothée Chalamet said that opera and the ballet are dead arts.
Having just seen The Nutcracker, I can't believe he said this, Jack.
Chalamet lost 2 million followers on Instagram because he trash-talked the ballet.
And his mom, was in the ballet. Ballet sales actually rose after he said that quote.
He came out and apologized, but still.
And now you can't even get a ticket to the Metropolitan Opera. Now time for the best fact yet, which, because we just landed in D.C., was sent in from Kevin Goodwin on Spotify.
Washington, D.C. does not have a J Street.
Yeah, it's a funny thing we noticed when we were looking around. Jack was like, I'm sorry, Sesame Street, we need to borrow a vowel.
City planners apparently thought that the letter J looked too similar to the letter I.
Which is also why there's no I train on the New York City subway, Jack. Yetis, you are looking fantastic, especially if you want to buy one of the final 20 tickets we just dropped for our live show tonight in DC.
Snatch those tickets, link in episode description. The show is at 7:30 in the Arlington Draft House.
Okay, in the meantime, Jack, we got to go crush some crab cakes and go on voice rest?
Yes.
Yeah, to both. Yetis, we'll see you at the show tonight. And before we go, a happy 150th birthday to AT&T. This is the 150th anniversary of the first ever phone call with Alexander Graham Bell. Watson. And Kim down in Hoboken, she is celebrating the best birthday yet. And Jack, she'd like a cookie crisp.
Cookie crisp.
And a happy 30th birthday to Colin down in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, who is engaged to the best fiance yet.
Happy birthday to Erwin, the Florida Gator in Guatemala. Go Gators.
And Samira down in Greenville, South Carolina, is turning 7 on March 12th, but listens on the way to school every day, and we are so pumped for your birthday, Samira.
Happy 35th birthday to Krista O'Connell, who's celebrating tonight at our live show.
I see you over there, Krista. And Joe Buckheit, the best dad yet, is from Naples, Florida, but is going to our live show next month in New York City. We can't wait to see you there, Joe.
Happy anniversary to Denise and Cesar. 11 years together since meeting in Pacifica. They're now married.
And happy 1-year anniversary to our buddy Nick Marino. 1 year since he was on Jeopardy. What is the 1-year anniversary of that?
I'd like to buy a noun.
And finally, a congratulations to the Fordham Women in Business who have their 27th annual Big Business Conference.
And to anyone else celebrating something today, make it a T-boy.
Celebrate the win.
And voice work. This is Jack. I own stock of Netflix, Ford, and Amazon. Nick owns stock of Lululemon and Nike. And we both own stock of Spotify.